doctors recommended a series of steroid shots into the, I think it's called the cochlea in the inner ear, and try to bring some of the hearing back because it was such a drastic loss so suddenly that they said they had about a 50% chance of stimulating that and bringing back some hearing. I went through that series of shots and it did no good at all. So the next step was some type of hearing enhancement device, which hearing aids. I have what's called a crossover or bicross in the right ear where it is deaf, and it sends the signal to the left now. So everything I hear is heard in the left ear through a hearing aid that I have in it because of the environments I've worked in over the years and just my life in general, both a hunter and growing up on a farm. I had lost the higher frequencies in my left ear. I had this stroke in April, and about 3 or 4 days before the stroke is when I went deaf in the right ear. So I was dealing with only being able to hear out of one ear and diminished hearing at that, but based on the environments I've been in over the years. So, this bicross makes it a lot easier to pick up sounds from the right, but it's a little confusing though because I still have trouble pinpointing where the sound's coming from because everything is fed into the left ear. So I have a tendency to turn or look to the left when somebody says something, and they may be to my right. I find myself going in circles a lot, but at least I can hear from both directions. So I just haven't learned to differentiate between which direction it's coming. There's a slight delay because of the crossover and the curvature of the head. There's a slight delay in sounds that come into the right, but because the left is still hearing some of it, I still have a tendency to turn to the left. I've had a pleasant experience here with it. You guys have been wonderful as far as fitting me with something that's comfortable and efficient. It's made stuff a little easier the last couple of months dealing with my wife and my job both. So my wife said either I got hearing aids or she was going to have them because I had the TV up so loud just to hear it. And she was getting pretty aggravated with me. I do most of the driving, and because I was deaf in my right ear, she's sitting on my left and has a tendency to look out the window and try to talk to me. And it made it kind of rough. I've actually started, believe it or not, first time listening to audiobooks, but I figure why I still have hearing, I want to use as much of it as possible, and I can listen to music in the garage again where I couldn't when I was deaf in the right ear because the left being diminished, I was afraid I wouldn't hear something important if I had the radio on as well. So it makes it easier to drive. Driving, I can hear the ambulances and stuff where I was afraid if emergency vehicles I wouldn't be able to hear because of the diminished hearing in the left and no hearing in the right. I was even afraid that I wouldn't be able to drive. So if my hearing had been any worse on the left, I would not have been able to go back to my job. I would have been occupationally disabled. So, my work has been very, very helpful with devices. They've bought me a special set of ear muffs that to block out a lot of the noise, but I can still hear with the hearing aid. I can still turned on. I can still hear voices, which makes it good. And it's crucial that I be able to hear certain sounds in there, and I can do that with my hearing aids on and the earmuffs on. So, as a matter of fact, they even bought me a second set to take home. So. I had the hearing aids within a week. I knew I was going back to work July the 11th, and I got them the Friday before that. So I had the weekend to get used to dealing with the hearing aid before I went back to work. So it was a very quick and easy process to get it.